Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. What does that little sister call us again?
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel.
And with that being said, let's get on with the video.
When it comes to first-person shooters, especially those from the early 90s, gamers were blessed with some classics such as Shadow Warrior, Quake, and the legendary Doom. They gave gamers a great experience while playing, however, the story took a bit of a back seat.
It was all about killing enemies, but with the biggest gun.
But by the late 90s and the early 2000s, first-person shooters had already started to evolve alongside the gamers and their wishes. The action was still there, however, these new games were becoming more story-driven, as well as more intricate with each game that was released. Some of these games even paved the way for the first-person shooters we know and love today.
One of these was Bioshock, which was revolutionary for the time, so let's go back to where it all started.
Irrational Games soon began development shortly after the release of System Shock 2. However, Bioshock didn't start out as the underwater adventure that gamers know and love. At the time, developers wanted to create a game that would appear different as well as introduce something new. One initial idea was to have Bioshock be set in space aboard a space station to give that feeling of isolation. However, there would be many changes over time, with early concepts being based around World War II and the secret experiments done by the Nazis. Eventually, a visit to the Rockefeller Center with its unique Art Deco would inspire game developers, and eventually the world of Bioshock was born. Opting for an underwater theme, which created that feeling of isolation that game developers wanted, the threat of drowning would be constantly present.
Very much like the moon from Majora's Mask. Ugh, still gives me the creeps.
And with this threat, game developers wanted to create a dark and ominous atmosphere, while gamers explored the underwater city of Rapture.
However, with all these ideas, it wasn't exactly smooth sailing while Bioshock was in development.
Early playtests from gamers gave back negative feedback, which game developers took to heart. But seeing this as a positive thing, they began making improvements to the game that would eventually be known as Bioshock. And come late August 2007, Bioshock was released for gamers to enjoy.
And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Bioshock was advertised.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing.
The story of Bioshock begins in 1960, where a young man known as Jack is a passenger on an airliner. However, something causes the airliner to crash into the Atlantic Ocean, killing all the passengers apart from Jack. He surfaces among the flames as well as the wreckage and swims to a nearby lighthouse on an island. While searching the lighthouse, Jack comes across a bathysphere, which when activated sends him down into the ocean abyss. Terrified at first, soon this subsides into wonder, as Jack has just located the underwater city of Rapture, a city created by Andrew Ryan, a business tycoon that tired of how the world's government treated everybody. Now trapped in a strange as well as a dangerous dystopia, Jack must rely on a mysterious man called Atlas, who appears to be helping him. With no choice but to fight for his survival against Rapture's mutated inhabitants, Jack must begin his long journey searching for a way back to the surface.
Gameplay has gamers controlling Jack as he explores the city of Rapture, dealing with many enemies and uncovering a murderous plot found within the city itself.
As gamers start out, they're introduced to a gruesome murder, which sets the tone of violence found within the city of Rapture. From there, gamers are treated to a great first-person shooter with combinations of role-playing and stealth. Bioshock is one of those games that will have gamers thinking as to what course of action is best when dealing with enemies.
Some of these are the murderous splicers that have abused using the plasmids with some horrific results.
Do gamers go in guns blazing? Do they use the environment around them? Or perhaps maybe use the plasmids that become available? These plasmids grant special powers that range from telekinesis all the way to creating fire with just a click of the finger.
I just happen to have a plasmid right here. I wonder what all the fuss is about. Oh, would you kindly not try this at home? I don't feel any different. I wonder. Oh God!
Within Bioshock, gamers will come face to face with other beings known as Little Sisters. Genetically altered young girls wielding syringes to collect precious Adam. However, these orphan girls are protected by a large, hulking monster in a diving suit.
These guardians are known as the Big Daddies, and when first encountering them, the best thing to do is run.
Throughout Bioshock, gamers will be able to collect a variety of different weapons, as well as hack certain enemy turrets that could be used to aid gamers while playing. With an RPG element, gamers will be able to choose what abilities that they want to improve. And what makes Bioshock great is there's no right or wrong answer.
When released, Bioshock was highly praised by gamers and critics, even going down in history as one of the best games ever made, alongside some other famous games.
Praised for its artistic style and compelling story, Bioshock showed that video games can be classed as pieces of art, not just for its visuals, but also for its ability in engaging gamers into a story.
With the mix of horror and combat, it's clear to see that game developers were inspired by the Resident Evil series, especially with a theme of survival horror.
The feeling of being isolated and trapped within a city made gamers feel on the edge, especially when dealing with the splicers. Although when first encountering a Big Daddy, that makes for a memorable experience.
Bioshock has 2 endings to unlock, so choose wisely and be prepared for a massive shock.
Over time, 2 sequels would follow, each bringing a new story to the table and improvements over the original, even going to the point of linking the games together in a roundabout way.
Both are really good games, which I'll definitely come back to.
Overall, Bioshock is simply amazing and fun to play, especially for new gamers to the series. With its great controls, smooth gameplay and a fantastic story thrown in, it's easy to see why Bioshock is loved by gamers all over the world. Eventually, the Bioshock series would be re-released with the Bioshock Collection, which contained all 3 games. The first 2 were remastered with better graphics as well as added content to match up to the 3rd game. Certainly a great collection for fans of the series. Maybe over time, gamers are treated to a 4th installment from the world of Bioshock, and perhaps with it, a return to Rapture.
Anyway, come back next time where a young man known as Alex is on an adventure to save a kingdom. But who is Janken the Great and where is King Thunder? Thank you so much for watching and see you next game.